On 29th of July every year, a group of veterans walk across the lawns of India Gate in solemn serenity to the National War Memorial to pay homage to their fallen comrades with whom they had fought shoulder to shoulder when the Indian peacekeeping force fought in Sri Lanka. Among the gathered were also women who had lost their husbands and have continued to display enormous strength in the face of such a loss. Also in the crowd were elderly people whose tears haven't dried since the day they lost their son on an island not too far away.
Because we were returning home after leaving many of our comrades back there.
For young Indian officers, leading their men into battle is an onerous task. It often turns costly, but soldiers have never bothered about such things. Our boys have gone into battle whenever they have been tasked to do so.
It is 36 years to date, on 29th of July 1987, that we as young officers were privileged to follow our karma of leaving our men into battle in Sri Lanka. Today, 36 years to the date, it is our dharma as veterans to commemorate the day of the supreme sacrifices which were made by the Indian peacekeeping force personnel in a distant land from where they never returned for their waiting wives, mothers, fathers, children.
Post an agreement with the Sri Lankan government, the Indian peacekeeping force landed in Sri Lanka. However, the battle in Sri Lanka proved expensive. The IPKF fought some pitched battles and numerous smaller encounters. The LTTE had its stronghold all across the country.
We stand here today to pay homage to approximately 1,200 killed in action and more than 3,500 seriously wounded. Operation Pawan was a difficult operation. It was initially a peacekeeping operation to give relief to the Sri Lankan Tamils who were being put under stress by the Sri Lankan government as they were fighting and supporting the NTTE.
As the violence became more and more intense, the Indian Army had to induct additional troops to enforce peace in Sri Lanka. What was expected to be a peacekeeping operation transformed into a peace enforcement operation.
Army was just called in for peacekeeping mission, which turned out to be a hostile mission against the LTT. Initially, we were taking the surrenders of Tamilians, LTT, but later on, we are supposed to catch them. We became very friendly with the Sinhalese, and one by one, about 4 divisions were inducted to reduce the strength of LTT. We were successful, and of course, from 87 to 90, we were there.
The operations left a lot of children without a father in their lives.
Mr. राजवीर देसवाल, उन्होंने अपनी श्रीलंका की लड़ाई में लड़ते हुए अपने जवानों को बचाते हुए वीर गति को प्राप्त हुए. उनको हम शत-शत नमन करते हैं.
The curtains came down when, on a request from the Sri Lankan government, the IPKF finally withdrew from Sri Lanka, having achieved most of the mandate that it had been given. The peacekeeping force, at the cost of over 4,000 Sri Lankan casualties, with close to 1,200 Indian soldiers dead, returned home. They left behind a trail of valor that even the Sri Lankans have paid their homage to by erecting a memorial. At the National War Memorial at India Gate in New Delhi, the names of those who fought till their last breath remain inscribed for posterity to recall their sacrifice.